Catholic Diocese in Connecticut files for bankruptcy while facing sexual abuse lawsuits.
Nice.
Well, maybe not nice. This is going to be interesting. On July 15th, Reverend Michael Cote, the Bishop of the Royal Catholic Diocese of Norwich, Connecticut, declared that the diocese filed for bankruptcy. The announcement was made while lawsuits related to sexual abuse at Mount St. John's Schools Academy were ongoing. In 2016, a sexual abuse victim filed and won the case against the Diocese of Norwich and Bishop Daniel Reilly. The diocese was forced to pay $9.5 million after losing the case. In 2018, the diocese faced more than 20 lawsuits for alleged sexual abuse of underage victims. Kelly Reardon, the attorney representing 6 of these victims, questions the diocese's decision to file for bankruptcy. She predicts that the filing will shield the diocese financially, preventing the victims from receiving full compensation. So, D is saying pass the collection plate. This was interesting to me because we often talk about wanting the church to basically be sued into oblivion, right? But there's stuff that comes with that, right? And so this lawyer, who Kelly Reardon, representing 6 victims, is basically saying that it's not as simple as just these lawsuits and, settlements and getting your money, because they can use these tactics like filing for bankruptcy to extend their, not extend, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it will extend the legal process, which isn't great for the victims. I would assume that they want this to be over as soon as possible. It's obviously a very extremely painful experience for them to try to rehash all this stuff and litigate it. But it's a tactic to possibly not compensate them as much as they should be compensated, which is something I hadn't considered when we talk about, taking legal financial action against the Catholic Church.
Yeah, actually, this makes a lot of sense because they're not being sued personally, right? Like for example, let me give you an example. My my brother signed up for this gym. It was called Sugar Bucks or something. They said he was like, it's the best thing ever. You pay $250 and it's lifetime membership or something like that, right? I'm like, that's a scam. They're going to claim bankruptcy in a month or something, and I mean it's a legal scam because once you file bankruptcy, then you can't go after them personally, and this is legal. It's a legal scam, right? And there's no way this is not a scam. Lifetime is like, no, it's great. Everybody's signing up. I was like, okay. And then 1 month after, they filed bankruptcy. But people think filing bankruptcy means they're suffering. No, they were planning to file bankruptcy, right? Because you paid the company, then they paid themselves, and then they bankrupt the company. And because the company is bankrupt, there's no money to go get. And then you can't go after them individually because it was the company that was bankrupt, right? So the whole point, people oh my God, these people don't know what they're doing. They're bankrupt. Oh, they lost all their money. No, they didn't lose anything. They paid themselves and they bankrupted the entity that you're suing. So they keep all the money. But go on.
Yeah, it's tough because I was watching the video of the bishop who announced this, and he said that they were in talks with their lawyers and prayed about it for 2 years. So they were considering filing for bankruptcy for 2 years before actually going through with it. It's another note, the U.S. Bankruptcy Court has required the Diocese of Norwich to lay out its finances and demanded complete transparency from the diocese as a response to the victim seeking compensation. The Diocese of Norwich disclosed liabilities of up to 100 million, with assets ranging from 10 million to 50 million. So with all of these, what this specifically has to do with this residential school called Academy at Mount St. John's, which was like a treatment center for troubled youth, basically. And there were all these lawsuits. I think there were around 60 victims. I can't remember exactly. I watched a little news clip about this before the show. I think it was 60 victims. And they were showing us all on the news, like all the documentation of all the fees and the settlements and stuff. Well, it's not a settlement of the dues that are owed the victims, and it's just millions and millions and millions of dollars, to the point that it's now a liability of like up to like 100 million.
Can they be sued personally though? I mean, this is some.
I don't know the specifics closely enough of the cases involving all of these individuals and who harmed them specifically, so I can't give you a clear answer on that. But when the Reverend was announcing this, he made sure to note that all the parishes will still be running, all the Catholic schools will still be running, because they're all separate entities.
See, this is what they do. They're like so many entities, and they're like, we're fine. You go out, you take one of them out, and like, I don't have to operate under this entity. I could operate under all these other 200 entities that I have here, right? All right, like, I guess we lost this one. Fine.
Yeah,
we're not gonna pay you anything, because we're just gonna move the money to ourselves, pay ourselves, and then bankrupt it. And oh wow, look at you, you win your lawsuit, but I'm sorry, there's no money for you to have because we bankrupted the entity. This is why you have to go after them. Okay, here's a silver lining that I'm thinking. Guys, I'm no legal expert, so don't come at me. Take everything with a grain of salt.
I know, we need Rivka.
No, she's not. Okay, guys, none of us are legal experts. Okay, please always please always keep that in mind. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
However, before Susanna interrupted my chain of thought, I was gonna say, God damn it, what was I gonna say? Thank you, Suze. That the silver lining is that this might set a precedent. No, not set a precedent. Be used when you go after them personally, because it has been established in another court that these people be guilty. You know what I mean? So I don't know how this. I don't know how things work, right? In the courts and all. But one thing I think I'm familiar with is that whether you want to press criminal charges, not just civil, right? Or you want money and you want to go after them, sue them personally, okay? Because criminal charges doesn't get you money. Suing them personally gets you money, okay? You could do both. You could be like, I am personally pressing criminal charges and I'm suing you personally for money. Two different things, criminal law and civil law, right? Whatever you want to do, I'm hoping that the fact that we have precedent by another court that these people be guilty makes all of that process a lot easier. Again, I don't know. I'm just assuming that that's how it works. Go on.
The Robert Atheist saying it's a shell game. They move money around so they don't lose any. It's very interesting. So this attorney, Kelly Reardon, when I was watching her talk to the local news about this, she was very stern in the way she was talking about this. And she's like, I'm going to continue to push to get my clients every single penny that they are owed. Okay. I'm not a legal expert, and I was watching this video by the bishop, and I was a little confused about the technicalities of it, but basically it involves consolidating a lot of this debt and a lot of different stuff. But the diocese claimed that it is insured by the Catholic Mutual Relief Society of America for covered claims. Reardon, the attorney representing 6, said that the insurance is fairly limited. On the website, the diocese agreed and stated that the insurance coverage is inadequate to compensate survivors. Bishop Cote Cote has turned to the financial protection brought about by the filing for bankruptcy, saying that it will allow the court to centralize these lawsuits to help the diocese manage its litigation expenses and preserve adequate financial resources. And in response, Kelly Reardon was basically saying this is a tactic to just prolong the legal process, and it's unfair and unjust, and another, abuse and slap in the face of the people who have already been through like hell in their life.
I know this is probably unlikely, but what are the legal potentials for people to go at the center, to go at the Vatican?
I don't know. I honestly
aim
have
at the
no
source.
idea. I would assume, given the fact that these sorts of abuse scandals have been a central part of Catholic history over the past 150 years longer, that they've done a very good job of legally isolating themselves from these sorts of things. I'm making that assumption because how could they not go about protecting themselves in every way possible?
I think there needs to be, this is my solution to everything here, okay? Again, I'm not a legal expert, but I'm pretty sure this is the best way to do things just because I said so. No, I'm kidding. But I think there needs to be a law firm, okay, built, like there needs to be a fundraiser, right? And all these victims of the Catholic Church from all around the world market the fundraising for an entire law firm to be built in Rome, right next to the Vatican, okay, to bring an international, like to represent the victims globally, okay, in Rome, and be the representative of all the victims around. And the entire purpose is to sue the Vatican for money on behalf of all the victims everywhere, not US, not Canada, not Brazil, not Uganda, not Philippines. And like this is the entire purpose
An international class action lawsuit against the country of the Vatican.
Yes, and perfect.
We're going to sue a country out of existence. Let's do it.
Yes. And that would be the entire purpose of this law firm. Guys, do it. Somebody start this. All right.
I would promote
I like the way you phrased that, but that was an international class action lawsuit
against
with the purpose of
a country.
Against the country. That was perfect for I like the sound of that.
I know, because I don't know, sometimes I forget that the Vatican is its own international entity. It's its own country. When you put it that way, things become a lot more intimidating in a lot of ways.
Well, here's the thing. They're not just a country. They're also other things. You know what I mean?
Imperialist
you don't have to... No. Like when it comes to legal entities, you don't have to be like... If you're like doing a lawsuit, like you don't have to be like, oh yeah, we're suing a country. Like, no, we're like suing this entity, and that entity doesn't have to be the nature of that shouldn't have to be the country, right? But the legal complication, the fact that this entity is within its own country, just makes the legal complications of the whole thing a lot more difficult. I mean, these people get away with all of this because they have their own country, like, or else it would be easier to just get the government of the country that they're in to be like, look at this, what the hell? You guys are hosting this? Like, do something about it. But they're like, nope, we have our own country. Which government are you going to contact, right? Like, anyways, I just think like Italy should just invade Vatican.
Strong words.
Let's just take over.
I ain't gonna touch that.
And like, you guys, you're not a country anymore. Why? I don't know. Just because we can. Just because like by what authority? By what rule of law? Like, we just invaded you. We make laws now.
What are the Swiss guards they're gonna do?
Oh, they could. They could just stand there and look colorful. Anyways.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of blasphemy and sexy Callie, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.